Hello and hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Saturday, the 5th of September. Sorry, it's got a little frog in my throat there, folks. Don't worry, I'm all okay. Hi, I'm Paul, and I'll be your host this morning. Michael Campbell is struggling in the Gulf. Australia have restricted England in the first 2020. We have lots of rugby kicking off this today. The Knights were also far too strong for the Sharks, but it was close between the Storm and the Rabbitohs over in the Tour de France, and it was a hectic day as the green and white jerseys switched shoulders. And we'll also bring you updates from the US Open and also the NBA. Over in motor racing, we've got practice at the Formula One in Monza, and don't forget there's supercar action this weekend as well. So let's start off with the golf, and over in the Andalusia Masters, it looks like Michael Campbell is having a tough one, I'm afraid, folks. He's down in 127th at 25 over par. So let's, and this is the second round is live. So let's be honest, it's looking like he will be missing the cut for the weekend's action. Over in the cricket, and it's the first T20 between Australia and England. And England made 100, and Australia chasing 163 to win that game. Milan was the top scorer with 66 runs, and only 3 players made it into double figures. Richardson and Maxwell with pick the bowlers, who picked up 2 wickets each, and both bowled under 5 and over, which is miraculous. In T20, let's be honest. I'm going to hand you over to Stephen now, who's going to take us through our birthdays.
Oh, thank you, Paul, and good morning to everybody. To what is your weekend? And birthdays this morning, a former All Black number 8 who went on to become a very colourful commentator. We also have a former All Black lock who came out of that brilliant Canterbury era during the early 2000s, and finally a track athlete that turned her sights on kickboxing, and that's where we start this morning. Gina Fabian, born this day, the 5th of September 1989, is a New Zealand kickboxer and mixed martial arts of Samoan, German and Maori heritage. As a youth, Gina Fabian was involved in track and field events and took up kickboxing in her early 20s after relocating to Thailand. Fabian's greatest achievement in sports so far is winning the women's middleweight title. Moving right along, Christopher Jack, born this day, the 5th of September 1978, is a former New Zealand rugby union player who played as a lock. He played for Canterbury and the Tasman Mako in the National Provincial Championship and its successor, the Air New Zealand Cup, the Crusaders in Super Rugby, the Saracens in the Guinness Premiership, and internationally for the New Zealand national team, the All Blacks. And finally, Graham Murray Mexted, or Murray Mexted as we know him as, Murray, born this day, the 5th of September 1953, is a former New Zealand rugby union player who played 34 consecutive tests for the All Blacks from 79 to 85. He also played 38 non-tests, including 7 as captain. During his time with the All Blacks, he wore the number 8 jersey and was considered an excellent winner and an effective defender in recent years. He has retained a high profile as a colourful rugby commentator for Sky TV. Mexted's father, Graham Mexted, also was a rugby union international for the All Blacks. He played 1 full cap in 1950. That's our birthdays today, Paul. Be back with League shortly.
Thank you very much, Stephen. And this weekend, it is the National Alpine Championships, the National Para Alpine Championships, and also the National Alpine Junior Championships are taking place over in the Super G. That had to be that was run with 2 runs on the shortened course due to conditions. Eliza Grigg was the women's champion. It's the first time she has won that title, so congratulations to her. And Willis Thiesley went back, who the 2019 champion has gone back to back with those ones. Over in the para Alpine Super G. Adam Hall was the winner over there. Sorry, so the in that one, and the junior one also took place with Megan Hood was the women's champion there, and Harrison Messenger won on the men's side for that one. Yes, great to they're taking place down in the South Island, so down in Queenstown. So do follow that. Say 2 more days of the national championships taking place over this weekend. Over in the rugby, and today we have the North versus South match, and also the Farah Palmer Cup kicks off today. And that's all with no fans, unfortunately. But Sky TV will be carrying, obviously, some of the action, and also with the Counties Manukau versus North Harbour in the Farah Palmer Cup available on Sky, and obviously North versus South. Also, Waikato are taking on Northland in the Farah Palmer Cup today as well. With the extension, or with the maintaining of the current levels, the Minor 10 Cup will also next weekend start with no fans as well. And also don't forget that the final round of the regular season for Super Rugby AU is happening today. Can the Rebels get enough points to climb up into third and make it into the finals series? Plus, we also have a preview of what the final will probably be, with the Brumbies and the Reds facing off as well this evening. I'm going to hand you back now to Stephen for the sport that just keeps on giving. It's our NRL update.
Oh, thank you, Paul. Well, all the giving these days is on the field, which is a good thing in news from the overnight. The Knights far too good for a disappointing Sharks team. A lot closer in the Storm Rabbitohs game, where the Storm get across the line, and we check on today's upcoming games, and we'll also have a quick look at the Betfred Super League, but it's with our first game in last night's round 17 we look at, and it was the Newcastle Knights who were far too strong for the Sharks, winning by 38 points to 10 after they led by 22 points to 4 at halftime. All up, the Knights scored 7 tries to 2, with Kalen Ponga picking up 3 tries, touching down in the 13th, 32nd and 69th minute. Also, Stafford Toa picked up a couple of tries within the space of 8 minutes, scoring in the 9th and the 17th minute. And that was actually after Ronald Mulitalo had scored early for the Sharks in the 5th minute for the Cronulla outfit. Connor Tracy would score in the 56th minute to give the Sharks their second try, but it would be extra tries in the second half to Lachlan Fitzgibbon, and Josh King would ice the game for the Knights in the 78th minute. I think it was well and truly iced by then, but it made it even more impressive than it already was. That final score again. That game again played at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle. Newcastle Knights 38, Sharks 10. Moving along to our second game, which was a lot tighter. It was the Melbourne Storm who had to come back from after being 14-10 at halftime to win by 22 points to 16. All up, the Melbourne Storm scored 4 tries. They scored a couple in the first half to Ryan Pappenhausen and Justin Olam for their 10 points, while the Rabbitohs scored both their tries in the first half to Campbell Graham and Cody Walker, scoring their tries, the rest of the points coming by way of boots by Adam Reynolds. But it'd be the Melbourne Storm who would charge back in the second half with tries to Tino Fasasua Malui and also Cameron Munster in the 65th minute to take out the victory. Rest of the points coming from Cameron Smith. That final score again, Melbourne Storm 22, Rabbitohs 16 in games upcoming today. And our first game that starts at 5 p.m. this afternoon, the Bulldogs host the Titans from ANZ Stadium. In the second game from Lotto Land Stadium in Sydney, the Sea Eagles will be looking to bounce back to some sort of form. They take on the West Tigers, both these two teams struggling a wee bit. And in our final game tonight, probably the second big game to look forward to this weekend, the Raiders take on the Roosters at Geo Stadium. That's set to kick off at 9:35 p.m. Look out for Sonny Bill Williams in his return to the NRL. And we'll just check on the Betfred Super League with games played on, looks like it was first games were played over night Friday evening. Hull Kingston Rovers 34, Wigan 18, Castleford 37, Salford 30, and a game just completed this morning. We had St. Helens far too strong for Uddersfield, winning by 54 points to 6. So that wraps up all our league news for the morning. Tell you what, I get to come back here tomorrow morning in 24 hours and do it all again. Back to you, Paul. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Yes, we do come to you at 7 a.m. every single morning, 7 days a week, helping you start your day the best way, even at the weekends, folks. That's right. Moving on then into cycling, and boy, it was supposed to be an easy day for the sprinters, with the sprint finish, but in the end, it was a hectic day in the Tour de France and Stage 7. Bora Hansgrove saw an opportunity to put their man Peter Sagan back in green by really drilling it on the first climb of the day and putting all the other sprinters in difficulty, including Sam Bennett, the person who was holding the green jersey. Then we also had crosswinds in the finale, which meant that several favourites missed out on this, or caught up in the splits, and were then in and lost time. Pogacar was definitely the biggest loser, who also lost the white jersey. That's going on to Edgar Bosenhagen's shoulders. The white jersey is for the best young rider. Mikel Landa also lost time, as did Richard Carapaz, and also Tom Dumoulin as well. So quite a few of the favourites missing out or losing time on what was supposed to be a relatively comfortable day for them. In the end, Limbo Visner also picks up the win with Wout van Aert, who had won Stage 5. He also wins Stage 7 in a small, selective group in the sprint at the end there. I'm really looking forward to catching up on the highlights of today's stage. It sounds like it was an absolute cracker. Over in the NBA, then, and the Raptors win a tight one over the Celtics, 104-103, to claw back or to get their first win in that series. It's now 2-1 to the Celtics, and the Clippers really dominated the Nuggets, 120-97, winning the first of their the first game in their series. Today, we have two games: the Bucks versus the Heat, where the Heat currently are 2-0 up in that series, and the Rockets and the Lakers will kick off their series after the Rockets knocked out the Thunder recently. The over in the NFL, and the NFL is about to kick off, and again, they're getting used to having no or very few fans, and they make the point that this will that actually the NFL, being the biggest league basically sports league in the world, will be able, the teams will be able to weather these losses. However, it's all of the support industries that are around it, around well, not much merchandise, but sort of people who do the all the people who are working at the stadiums, all of the food franchises, all the businesses around the stadiums that will be hard hit by it. But the actual NFL and the teams themselves will come through this absolutely fine. It is expected. Obviously, their stadium revenues will be down, but they it's such a juggernaut that it will come through fine, the experts say. And that's now is the oh, sorry, I don't think I talked about the Formula One racing. Sorry, Hamilton was the fastest in second practice at Monza. Obviously, the Mercedes have been dominant in the Formula One and that race this weekend. Also, kicking off today, we have the Robson Civil Projects Townsville Super Sprint over in supercars. The first race is this afternoon, and then races 2 and 3 will be on Sunday. So we'll bring you those results over the next 2 days. So have a wonderful start to your weekend, folks. Don't forget to join us tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for the morning sports briefing. And you can also listen to us on the go. Just search for New Zealand Sports Radio on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcatcher. Have a wonderful day, folks, and catch you all tomorrow.